Good news, you could start a business this afternoon with almost no money. But the bad news is right now, so can everybody else. And all those videos out there talking about starting a business are completely out of date. They're based on a world that just doesn't exist here in 2026. Things have changed, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I'd do if I wanted to start a profitable, successful business with no money whatsoever. And I've spent 20 years starting and growing businesses, selling them, making millions along the way. And I now help other business owners just like you do the same. So let's start with the first big shift in starting a business. And no surprise, it's AI. And I don't just mean AI as a buzzword that everybody keeps banging on about. I mean AI has practically collapsed the cost of starting a business and getting it off the ground. Using AI, you can build a decent website in an afternoon, even an hour probably. You can generate copy, logos, handle your bookkeeping, write proposals, sort out customer emails, all using AI. Things that used to cost you thousands or tens of thousands or take weeks, you can now do yourself for almost nothing. You can even use AI to help you come up with business ideas in the first place, although a word of warning on that, because just because you ask ChatGPT to give you the best business ideas, chances are they're just going to knock out the same generic list that it gives everybody else. The usual rubbish: drop shipping, print on demand, start a blog. All right, perhaps not rubbish, but not great either. The key is to feed it specifics about you, your skills, your experience, your location, the industries that you know, the problems that you've actually seen people struggle with. In fact, if you want the specific prompt I use to generate the best business ideas using AI, just drop me a message. My info is in the description and I'll send it to you for free. The more specific you are with the AI prompt, the better business ideas it will give you. But you get the point, right? The tools are now there to make starting a business easier and less expensive for you. Now that all sounds brilliant, right? But the flip side is it's the same for everybody else too if you want to start a business in 2026. If it's cheap and easy for you to start a business, then it's cheap and easy for the next person too. And let's face it, the market is more crowded than it's ever been. There are more businesses, more noise, more people competing for the same customers. And really, a lot of them look pretty slick because, again, AI makes everything look professional. So the question isn't, can you start a business anymore? Yes, of course you can. Everybody can. The question is, why would somebody choose your business? And that's more important than anything else. And that leads into the second shift that's happened in starting a business right now, which is trust and authenticity. People are overwhelmed right now. They're seeing AI-generated content everywhere, rubbish, a lot of it. They're getting cold emails that are obviously written by a bot. They're landing on websites that look great but feel hollow and say absolutely nothing. And they're getting better at spotting it. People can see it now. So despite this being the age of AI, what actually cuts through right now, here in 2026, when starting a business, is being a real person. Having a genuine story, genuine results, and a genuine product or service to offer. One that solves a real need. Getting reviews from actual customers, being known in your space, word of mouth, personal reputation, being someone that people can look in the eye and trust. That should be your competitive advantage when starting a business right now in 2026. Which is funny, really, given that hasn't actually changed, probably since commerce was invented. The next thing that's changed about starting a business is how people find you. Now, there was a simple old playbook, and I made millions building businesses doing exactly this. You build a website, you have a product or service, you do some SEO, maybe you run some Google ads or Meta ads. You set up your social media, and yes, that all still matters, but the game has shifted. Google results look completely different now, with AI answering questions and then ads before people even click through to a website on traditional search. Social media reach has dropped off a cliff unless you're paying for it or you've got a particularly strong link in the algorithm. So getting in front of customers requires more thought and creativity than it used to. You can't do what I used to do, which is just put up a website, do some SEO and wait for the customers to come in. It doesn't work anymore. And I can tell you that because I've tried. It does not work. You need to actively go and find your customers, which I'll come back to a bit later. But before that, let's talk about what hasn't changed and what you should do right now when starting a business. Because it's not all different, right? And so I don't want to overcomplicate this. You still need to solve a real problem for real people who'll pay you real money. You still need to be able to explain what you do in one clear, simple sentence. And above all, cash is still the thing that kills businesses. I don't mean physical cash, but I mean cash flow coming through the business. Not just bad ideas, not just running out of money before the idea gets traction. You still need to sell and generate that cash flow. You need to talk to actual potential customers before you spend months building something that nobody wants. Those fundamentals have not moved at all. 1990 or 2026, that hasn't changed. So with all that in mind, if I had no money and I wanted to start a business from zero tomorrow, here's what I'd actually do. First, if I didn't have much money to start, or no money, then I start with a service, not a product. Now, a lot of people tell you not to sell your time. But when you're in this position, when you don't have the money, the quickest route is actually selling your time, or at least selling a product or a service based on your time, based on your knowledge, your skills. It costs almost nothing to get going. You can quickly earn money fast, right? And you can learn what people will actually pay for. Work out what you know, what your skills are, and what people will pay for. That's the overlap in your business idea. It's the link between what you know how to do, what your skills are, and what people will actually pay for. Now, if you do have some capital behind your idea, then a product rather than a service can absolutely work. But make sure you test the idea first. Don't go ordering 10,000 units off Temu or Alibaba and then have them sat in your back bedroom for the next 10 years unsold and reminding you of your failure. Pre-sell it, run a pre-launch, get people to put their hand up and say, yes, I want to buy that, before you spend thousands and thousands on stock or prototypes. Either way, validate your business idea before you invest, especially if you need to buy stock. Next, do not blow your budget on fancy websites. Don't fall for the website agencies selling expensive sites. I see this all the time. Someone spends like 3 months or 6 months or even a year and a few grand getting the perfect website built. And then they launch it. Nothing. Silence. Because a website doesn't generate customers on its own. Get something simple up instead. One page, a landing page is fine. There's tons of services on the internet that will do that for free. Or go on to Fiverr.com and get one made for very little money at all. And spend your time instead and the money that you have on actually getting in front of customers, potential customers that will buy your service or product. Also, whilst on the subject of marketing, pick one distribution channel, but go deep with it, at least initially when starting out. Sure, over time, you're going to want to add as many marketing channels as possible. And increasingly in this day and age, you do need to be across more things. Historically, we'd say, pick one and be an expert in it. Well, actually, I think now you probably do need to be more across multiple social media platforms. You do need to be on Google. You do need to be doing SEO. You do need to be doing AI discoverability. Those are old rules of, as I did, I was a master of building businesses based on Google pay-per-click and SEO, right? But it doesn't work anymore. You need to be across more channels. But when you're starting, just do one. Don't try to be everywhere at once. Don't set up a LinkedIn, an Instagram, a TikTok, a YouTube, a Facebook page, and an email list, and a podcast all in 1 week. You'll do all of them badly. I know, because I've tried. I've tried and tried to do that, but it doesn't work. Work out where your customers actually spend their time. Which platform is right for them? Where are your customers hanging out? Is it Facebook? Is it LinkedIn? Is it wherever? Is it the local shop? Put a sign up. Wherever it is, pick that one place or that one thing and get genuinely good at marketing within that channel. Now, the next one is a big one. Talk to people. Now, I know that sounds super obvious and maybe a little old-fashioned in the day and age where apparently none of us want to phone each other anymore. But the number of new business owners who sit behind a screen waiting for customers to find them is staggering. Go to networking events, reach out to people directly, build partnerships with other businesses who serve the same customers. Have actual conversations with real people. Yeah, it's old-fashioned, and I'm not a big fan of it either, but it works better than almost anything else. especially when you're starting out and no one knows who you are yet. It's a real game changer and something you really must do. Next, don't forget to set a number. Now, what I mean by that is you need to know how much you need to earn and by when to keep the lights on. Work backwards from that number. Most people start with a business with no idea what actually success looks like or what survival looks like. And then you end up spending 18 months exhausted, wondering where it all went wrong, where's the money going to come from? And unfortunately, most of those end in failure. So know your numbers, it's super important. And then finally, if I could leave you with one thing, it would be this. The biggest mistake I see people over and over again make is spending ages on the stuff that feels like progress. The logo, the business cards, the color scheme, the social media profiles with 0 followers and nobody interested. All the stuff that makes you feel like you're building a business, but you're not yet. The business doesn't start until someone gives you money. Get to that point as fast as you possibly can and figure out the rest along the way. It won't be perfect, but it'll be better because you'll be bringing in cash flow, you'll be bringing in revenue before you've started to outlay costs on a ton of other things. Now, if you're thinking about starting a business and you want to talk it through with an expert, somebody who's been there before, then that's what my low-cost rapid advice sessions are for. Now, I offer these one-on-one cost-effective advice sessions very cheaply, so they're accessible for everyone. I only do a few each month, so there can be a wait list, but we spend 1 hour, you and me, and we'll go through your idea, your plan, your situation, your goals, and I'll give you a straight answer on what I'd do next, how I'd approach it. And as I said, I've started, grown, and sold multiple businesses, so I hope I know what I'm talking about. Now, if you're interested and you think it would be worth an hour of your time, spending that time with me, talking through your idea or your business, then there's a link in the description and you can drop me a message. And don't forget, also drop me a message if you like my AI business ideas prompt, which will help you generate better business ideas from AI. Until then, thanks for listening to me waffle on, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.